Well, welcome back to episode 7 of Pentagon for Gold. We're doing pretty well avoiding relegation, and as a result, our manager security is untouchable and we've got an A-star manager performance. In terms of transfer news, our move for Interclub's Abdul collapsed due to a lack of finances, but we've since managed to make some money selling some youth players for a total of 75,000, which could rise to almost 150,000. I elected not to go back for Abdul, as it took a month and a half to get a work permit for him the first time, and I wouldn't have been able to use him this season even if I'd approached him during the transfer window. As a result, we brought in Kevin Rivas on loan from Colombia, which is our first cross-continental transfer activity in the save. Additionally, although two of our loanees, Makuma and Ismail, have signed pre-contracts with other clubs, we have two players coming in at the end of the season ourselves, and they are Ali Masengi, who is a left-back from Tanzania, who looks really quite good. He's very, very young. He's probably not going to be my first choice straight away, but I think he's got plenty of ability to grow. And the other player we're bringing back, actually, is Liam Byrne. He left us at the end of last season to go to Sundowns on a free, but only on a one-year contract, so we've got him straight back, really. Very excited for this one. He's improved already, and he's got plenty of potential to grow into. So it's an exciting one to get him back, because I was rather sad to see him leave. Unfortunately, the other players I lost, Johannes and Velapai, both have longer term contracts, so they won't be coming back, at least not this season. Tabani Mkwango has also decided to retire, having only played a part in 3 games this season. Now, the last game which you'll have seen was the sensational 5-2 win over Sundowns, which was their only league defeat of the season until they lost in game week 20. Since then, we've had some mixed form, as we followed that game up with a strong 4-1 away win at Bloem Celtic, before stumbling through our next few games, with the most disappointing result being the 0-0 draw away to TS Galaxy, who were 16th at the time, although they have had some decent results recently, having drawn with Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates. We've since recovered some form, beating the likes of Chippa United, TTM and FS Stars, while we're also going on a cup run, having beaten Marxberg United 4-0 in the second round in what was an impressive team performance. Our most recent game ended in a draw, away to Cape Town City. It was a rather frustrating result, as we conceded an 89th minute equaliser as a result of Peter Levenberg spilling a pretty simple catch for a rebound goal, which some might consider suspicious, given that he spent the last 3 years playing for Cape Town City. In today's episode, I'm going to show you the league game against Amazulu, who beat us earlier on in the season, and the cup game against Supersport United, who are one of our opponents in the cup last year. Funnily enough, Amazulu have offered me a job interview right before our game today, presumably to unsettle me and my team, but I'm not particularly convinced. They don't have great facilities compared to what we have here, and while we can't afford the facilities, we're still in a better position in the league than Amazulu are. So I'm not too inclined to leave. It is a shame that we won't get to play with Johannes again, but we could potentially get him in future anyway. So nice try, Amazulu. It ain't going to work. Well, after that rather cheeky attempt by Amazulu to unsettle my team, I'm going with quite a strong team, and I'm able to do that particularly because there's a week before my next game. That means Kevin Rivas comes in for the first time that you'll have seen. Sumaharu is replacing Ismail. Usually Ismail would be in if I wanted a slightly stronger team, but it's about as strong as I can get. Unfortunately, Nerodian's coming back from a fitness test and is not fully there, so I'm going to play Buchanan over him, and Mostulaga will play on the left. Makuma is also on a fitness test, as is Mutiswa, and Mutiswa can only play 75 minutes, so that's why Makuma's playing from the start, because he's one that you could play with the whole game. But knowing my luck recently, those kind of players who are on fitness tests are probably going to get a small injury afterwards anyway. So let's see what we can do. So as Amazulu were the team to beat us, I'm hoping we can get them back this time, because we did dominate that last game. We got very unlucky in losing 2-1 to them. We haven't had a shot on target yet after 20 minutes, but I'm still going to have confidence. I think we're at least dominating the game on the whole. 72% possession's a good sign of that. But we could do with getting a shot on target, particularly as Amazulu have had 2 on target so far. And here's the first visible chance of the game. Rivas on the ball. Good ball from Koopstad into Mostalaga. Fumidzai has been very good recently. He's often played on the wing, actually, and he's got quite a few goals recently. And Shalulele gets his first goal from his cross. That's a really good finish. Very nice goal, that. Yeah, Fumidzai has been very good, very impressive. And I always thought that his stats looked rather good for this level. And it's a bit of a mistake from the goalkeeper, really. The hitting of the crossbar made it look a slightly better goal than it was, but it was a decent attempt, and it's resulted in us scoring, so I can't complain too much. Classic. Don't want the boys to get complacent, but we're also not there yet, so I would like to get us to keep trying and pushing. So we're currently sitting in 4th as it stands, which is, I think, 3 or 4 positions above where we were predicted to finish. So it's all going quite well. We've done some good performances recently as well. We're starting to be a little bit more clinical. Mukamela with a chance here. Oh, that's got to be a penalty. That could be a card as well for Boysen. I'm surprised he's got away with that at all. And Rivas has somehow snuck it through the goalkeeper. This is a very suspect goalkeeper. I believe he is actually retiring at the end of the season. I think he's a Zambian 37-year-old goalkeeper. I'll see it after this chance. Dube. And he's been disallowed. Okay. Yeah, Levenberg's not been fantastic recently. I have given him a new contract because his stats look fantastic, and I'm sure it's just him settling into the team. So Muin is 37 years old. Actually made 100 caps. Quite impressive. And Buchanan, that's a good header. Good header. And we are now 3-0 up. I've had a good performance today. I think I'll take off Fumidzai since he's a bit tired. I'll get a Mako on to keep Fumidzai fit for the next game in the Cup against Supersport. And Makuma I better get off, and I'll get on Matizwa so that he can get some minutes under his belt again. And I think Narodian can come on. I'll keep Buchanan on, he's playing well today. No need to take him off. Narodian and Matizwa both on full fitness, but hopefully they'll be able to get through the rest of this game without too many issues. Beloy into Koopstad, and Mako sent it in. And Buchanan scored again. He's really started to show his worth recently, Buchanan. I'm aware that I had my mouse over something else, so it was difficult to see that goal, so I'll show it again. Really good reaction from Buchanan. Again, a bit suspect from the goalkeeper, but Buchanan's done well to twist that volley in with his weak foot. Very impressive. But I think this game just goes to show that if I had accepted that interview, I'd have been downgrading. Of course, I wouldn't have had to accept the offer if I did get an offer from the interview. But I didn't really feel the need to do the interview. I don't want to upset my board by interviewing elsewhere. And we just need to close out the last few minutes, hopefully with a clean sheet, because we've not had a lot of them this season. I think we've had something like 6 from 19 games, which isn't awful, but considering how good Levenberg was supposed to be, I would be a bit disappointed if we couldn't get more than that. I'm very happy with that result, and we performed brilliantly. That's the result we deserved in the first game that we lost 2-1. But back then, Amazulu were top of the league, and now they're 11th, having got very few points since, actually. How's their schedule looking? Oh dear. Yeah, they've had some bad results recently. They started the season pretty well. Actually, it was only the 3rd game that they played us, but they were top, having won both of their games up till that point. And really, they've struggled massively since, so definitely happy to stay at Cape Town Spurs. We've now got our youth intake for this season. It's not fantastic. The best player is currently at 1.5 star with 4.5 star potential. There's 3 of those, so it's not awful. They'll probably go up to 5 star after a couple of months. But it's not the best you could have at this level, so I guess we'll see how it goes. Heading into this cup game, we've still got a couple of injuries, but mostly the team is fine. Jesse Don misses out as he's ineligible to play against his parent club. So that means we've got a good strong squad. Ishmael's come in for Sumahoro, and Narodian's back in, this time in place of Mostialaga, as I wanted to give Buchanan another chance after getting 2 goals in that last game and having impressed me quite a lot recently. Makuma starts up front as a false 9, with Matizwa back on the bench still, as he's still coming back from his fitness tests. This should be a good game. We obviously just played Amazulu, who had no manager, and Supersport United are seemingly struggling. Their manager is at risk, at least. He's not been sacked yet, but I keep getting messages saying that he's in danger. So hopefully we can get through this. And if we have a look at the other games going on, Bloem Celtic and Cape Town City. So I probably want Bloem Celtic to win that one, as they are doing at the moment. They are lower down in the table, and we beat them comfortably away from home last time. I think Sundowns are still in the competition, so they're going to be the absolute favourites right now. But we've got a chance here, and it would be great to win this because it would qualify us for the Total Confederation Cup, which is the second, effectively the Europa League equivalent of Africa. And as I say, that Makuma has finished it off well. He did look a bit offside to me, but I guess maybe he isn't. Yeah, pretty close, but just about played onside by the right back, I think. We started this game very well, but as always, you've got to watch out that you don't get complacent. Oh, and that might be a red card for their guy. Yeah, Lungu is going off. That makes our job even easier, or at least a lot easier. I don't know if it would be even easier, but now Shalulale is injured. That is a shame. He's been very good recently. So Patty will come in. Shalulale has actually taken Patty's place in the team, but Patty may get more chances again now that that injury has happened. We may also end up playing Koopstad as a Mazzala, and play Jesse Don as a deep-lying playmaker in the defensive midfield position, because Koopstad can play as a Mazzala pretty well. I think it's actually his favourite position, but I've just generally played him as a deep-lying playmaker because he seems to suit that role too. Going into half-time, it's been a decent performance. Shame about that injury, but we are absolutely dominating this game. If we don't go through, it's a bit of a travesty because we're playing against 10 men and they haven't had a shot yet. Mukamela with the throw-in. Koopstad has a chance to shoot here. And what a shot it is! Oh, that was beautiful. It might even be on his weak foot. I'm not sure which is his weak foot, to be honest. But that was sensational. Oh, we've got to watch that one again. They gave him far too much space, and he has absolutely rocketed that into the top left corner. Beautiful goal. That is probably going to be the goal of the season, you'd imagine. From Bidzine to Narodian. Now Beloy with a chance to... Ooh! Cross come shot there. Almost caught the keeper out. Right, Buchanan's a little bit tired, so we'll get Mostialaga on, and Rivas is also a little bit tired, so Sumahoro can come on. And we'll make another sub just now. I don't know whether to take Narodian or Makuma off, to be honest. I think maybe let's get Matizwa back to his... Oh, I'm being stupid. I can't make any more subs because I already had one due to an injury. So Makuma will have to just deal and stay healthy. Well, you can see this is a thoroughly deserved victory against a Supersport team who at the start of the season I was a lot more worried about than I am at this point. And this just shows our superiority. Fantastic performance. You got to say, as Supersport United are one of the best teams in the division usually, you can see why their manager is in danger. And he's apparently changed. I wonder if he's been sacked because their manager's just changed instantly there. Never seen that before, but a very good performance. Bloem Celtic did go through. So let's see what that means for the cup competition. So, okay, so Sundowns versus Swallows hasn't happened yet. Swallows are the only second division team left in it, although they are first in the league, so who knows, they could cause an upset, but I'd say it's unlikely. And then Stellenbosch versus Golden Arrows. I would fully expect Stellenbosch to get through that one. They're second in the league, I believe. Yes, they are. and quite comfortably as well. The next team is Marxberg United, who, given we beat them 4-0 in the cup, we're not doing badly. And we're actually in 5th place in the league, doing pretty well. And we've got a chance to go up 3rd, provided we win both our games in hand, which is probably unlikely, but we're in a great position. We've got a couple of games in hand on most teams around us, and we're unlikely to finish lower than 8th, really. 7th would still be a bit of a surprise. Have they sacked their manager? So they must have done. Yeah, he's their caretaker manager, so they must have sacked him immediately after that game, which, frankly, I've never seen before, but that's quite fun. I just sacked someone. Wonderful. So there's some sad injury news. Peter Chalulele is out for 5 to 6 weeks after suffering a fractured toe. Not quite sure how he's fractured his toe by sprinting. Quite impressive. But he joins Cohen Stander on the sidelines, who's out for 4 to 7 weeks with sprained knee ligaments, although that's not too much of a miss because he's barely played this season. One of our youngsters who actually got quite a good transfer bid in the last transfer window, but I'm not particularly interested in selling him because he's probably the best of our youth players at the moment. Marumo Majola also got a very long injury, which was initially about 6 to 8 months, I believe, which was a damaged Achilles tendon, so he wasn't likely to see the pitch anytime soon, but that has stunted his development a little bit, which is a bit of a shame. We've also got a few new contracts signed. Mostitalaga has signed a contract with a wage of 1.4k per week, which is quite a drop on his old contract, which was about 1.8, I believe. Narodian signed a new contract too. He's on the same wage as he was before. These all seem to be 3-year contracts. Koopstad's had a bit of a raise. I think he's gone from £750 to £1,000, but it's fully deserved. He's been really good for me. And Fumbidzai needs to get a work permit again, but he should do that. He's played for me quite a lot this season, so I don't think there'll be any risk of him failing. If he does fail, I should probably be able to get him again on appeal regardless. And if he ends up going and he can't sign a new contract, I'll just find a way to replace him. I'm sure that'll be not too difficult, particularly as we've already got our new left back coming in, Ali Munsengi. So there's further good contract news in that Ronald Fumbidzai has managed to get his work permit accepted. So he's now got a 3-year contract, which is quite a raise from what it was before. I think it was £450 per week he was on. He's now on £900 a week. Perhaps I would have been better waiting till the end of the season, as I'm now paying £450 per week more than I would have for the last month of the season. Let's have a look at the draw. So Blum Celtic against Stellenbosch. That means we got Sundowns next. I would have preferred if we were playing Blum Celtic and Stellenbosch were playing Sundowns. We've lost to Stellenbosch this season. We've beaten Sundowns this season. Thankfully, we're at home, and I believe there's only one round. But this is going to be a tough game. So, at the end of this rather successful episode, I would say, we've even managed to repair the club's financial damage a little bit. We're now on course, whereas before the board were rather disappointed, which is good news given that it's a requirement of my role here. We're doing quite well in the league. We're in 5th place, but we could go higher, and we've got a few games in hand on a couple of teams. We've got a tough semi-final draw, but our minimum expectation was to reach the quarter-final. We've done that, and if we can beat Sundowns, there's a good chance that we could win the cup, which would qualify us for the Confederation Cup. So another performance against Sundowns where we win 5-2 would be absolutely wonderful. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time, and have a great day.